So, have you ever looked at a place that's been, completely wiped out by a volcano or a huge fire and wondered, what happens next? It might look like game over, but it's not. Nature actually has this incredible step-by-step playbook for making a comeback. And today we're going to dive into that amazing story, how even the most barren landscapes can become full of life again.
I mean, think about it. It really is the ultimate comeback story, right? How in the world do you get from nothing, literally just barren volcanic rock with zero life, zero soil, to a lush green forest teeming with creatures? Well, the answer is this powerful, slow-motion process that unfolds over decades, sometimes even centuries. Right, so every comeback story has to start somewhere. And in this case, it starts with what we call a disturbance. And this can be something super dramatic, like a fiery volcano erupting, or a massive wildfire just tearing through a forest. It could even be a glacier slowly retreating. What all these things do is they basically hit the reset button. They wipe the slate clean and create this perfect blank canvas for nature to start painting again.
And here's the thing, this whole rebuilding process, it's not random, it's not chaotic at all. It's actually a pretty predictable series of changes. A natural, gradual transformation where one community of living things comes in and paves the way for the next. This whole shebang is called ecological succession, and honestly, it's nature's master plan for rebuilding. So let's lock in on that definition. The key word here really is gradual. This isn't some quick fix, It's not about just planting a few trees and calling it a day. Nope. This is a slow-motion transformation, where one group of species totally sets the stage for the next, almost like a relay race that can span lifetimes.
So who actually kicks this whole thing off? When you've got nothing but bare rock, who are the brave few that can even show up and survive? Well, let's meet the heroes of our story. We call them pioneer species, and you should totally think of them as nature's first responders, or maybe like trailblazers. These guys are incredibly tough. They can survive in the absolute harshest conditions where nothing else can. And their job? Well, it's absolutely essential to everything that comes after. And who are these tough pioneers? We're talking about organisms like lichens, which is wild because they can literally grow on bare rock. As they live their lives, they release these weak acids that start to break the rock down. Then, when they die, their little bodies decompose and mix with those tiny rock bits to form the very first super thin layer of soil. They're the original soil makers. They're literally preparing the way for everything else.
Okay, so this journey of recovery, it's not always the same script. It can actually take two very different paths. And the main difference, the thing that decides which path it takes, is the starting point. Basically, did the disturbance leave anything behind? So these two paths are called primary and secondary succession. Now, primary succession, that's starting from absolute zero. We're talking bare rock, no soil. Think of a brand new volcanic island. It is an incredibly slow process, folks. It can take centuries, even thousands of years. But then you have secondary succession. This happens after something like a forest fire. And the crucial difference? The soil is still there, and that gives nature a massive head start on the rebuilding job, often cutting the timeline down to just decades. And if we break it down, you can really see the stages. Just look at the difference in the pioneers. For primary succession, you need those super tough lichens and mosses that can handle bare rock. But for secondary, because you've already got soil, grasses and weeds can pop up almost right away. And while both paths can end up as a mature forest, you can see that secondary succession, well, it gets there a whole lot faster. This really lays out that primary succession journey perfectly, step by step. It's this beautiful, logical progression, right? First, the lichens show up and start making the very first bit of soil. That new soil allows some grasses to grow. The grasses then die and enrich that soil, which allows shrubs to move in. And then the shrubs improve the soil even more, finally making it good enough for big trees to take root and create a whole complex forest. You see how each stage literally paved the way for the next one? It's amazing. So, after all this time, right, after all these stages of growth and change, where does the journey actually end? What's the final destination of this whole long process of recovery? It ends with something we call a climax community. This is the grand finale. It's a balanced, resilient, and totally mature ecosystem, and it's characterized by really high biodiversity. That means a huge variety of different plants and animals all living together in a complex web. This community is stable. It doesn't change a whole lot, unless, of course, another big disturbance comes along and resets the clock. And this quote really paints the final picture for you. a fully grown forest with trees, animals, and complex interactions. See, it's not just about the big trees, it's about the entire web of life, the animals that find homes there, the fungi in the soil, all the little complex interactions that make the whole system stable and self sustaining. This is the grand finale of ecological succession.
Okay, so this is a really fascinating natural process, for sure. But why should we care? Why is it actually important for us to understand all this? How does it connect to our world today?
Well, the truth is, this process is happening all around us, all the time. When a forest recovers after a wildfire, that's secondary succession in action. You ever see an old abandoned farm field that's slowly being taken over by weeds, then shrubs, and then young trees? Yep, that's succession. It is the fundamental process of healing and recovery for our planet's ecosystems. And this is the crucial takeaway. By understanding how nature heals itself, we can actually help it along. This knowledge is absolutely essential for things like reforestation projects, for restoring damaged lands, and for managing our natural resources in a sustainable way. It basically gives us a blueprint for how to work with nature instead of against it. So we're kind of left with this thought, right? Ecological succession proves that nature is incredibly resilient, but it also reminds us that real recovery takes a lot of time and just the right conditions. As we face more and more environmental challenges, this whole process is a really powerful reminder of nature's ability to heal, and it kind of forces us to ask ourselves, what is our role in this incredible story? Are we the ones causing the disturbance, or are we the ones helping with the recovery?